Welcome back to The Serial Entrepreneur. I'm your host, Anna Wood. On today's episode, I'm joined by Mark Sweeny, the founder and Group Chief Executive of Novo Solutions. We discuss always focusing on the fundamentals, championing the Welsh ecosystem, and winning the Most Successful Scaleup Award at the Hustle Awards 2025. Let's dig in. Hi Mark, welcome to the podcast today. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you, Anna. It's good to be here.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. So we begin every podcast episode with our signature icebreaker question, which is, what's your favourite breakfast cereal and why?
My favourite breakfast cereal. I'm a granola and fruit person with Greek yogurt.
I see, it's a classic. I hear that a lot as
well. Healthy these days.
Yeah, you got to be. So would you be able to introduce yourself and tell me a bit about your background?
Yeah, certainly. My name's Mark Sweeny. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I'm currently the founder and Group Chief Executive, as we're growing, of Novo Solutions. Novo is basically creates digital experiences for HR, payroll, finance and procurement using Oracle Cloud technology and ServiceNow. And so we're renowned for implementing basic digital transformation across back office systems, very deep, large public sector presence, work for central government, local government, and now the police as well, sectors, but also in the commercial sector with some of the largest multinational companies around the world.
Oh, wow, that is amazing. Did you want to talk more about Novo Solutions and your offerings and what you're trying to achieve?
Yeah, so the history of Novo starts with my previous company. As I said, I was a serial entrepreneur, and it was called Certus Solutions. And Certus was the original pioneers of Oracle Cloud applications for HR, payroll, finance, procurement over 10 years ago now. 2012. Now it's getting on. It's even longer than that now. So it's getting into 12 years. So it's over 12 years. So we got involved with what we just use the term cloud now. We got involved with it when we didn't even call it cloud. That's how early it was. But we saw the potential for a new range of applications, which were basically previously where you bought the software, you ran it yourself on premise, what we call, so you bought the hardware, you bought everything yourself, and you implemented it and looked after it. And upgrades were very expensive, and that's just the way software had been from the 90s and into the early noughties. And then clouds came along, and we were serendipitously in the right place that we could work with Oracle. Because why would Oracle talk to us? Because we had the expertise of how you actually implement these systems. They would build the product, but we know how we actually implement these systems. So, which was really, really, really key. So they weren't building things in an ivory tower; they were building things that we could implement. So we built that company up, and then what we did is we built blueprints for given industries on top of that software, and the one we focused on was central government, because that was our background. We knew it. So we built a blueprint for central government for Oracle Cloud, and we basically sold that and implemented it at the ONS, which is down in Wales, and that was the first public sector implementation of Oracle Cloud in central government. And 6 months later we did the Treasury, which is obviously quite a big one, and then we got involved with the Home Office really after that, from there. And at that point, the company was acquired by a company, American Systems Integrator, called Accenture. So we did that. We did some time with Accenture, and then really we felt we had a lot of unfinished business. There's things that we wanted to do that we couldn't do with Accenture, and we wanted to come back. And during that time, the technology had already evolved. It moved on. And new innovation was coming out, and there was new opportunities in the marketplace, and there was things that we felt we could do that could add value to the customers and the basis. And so we decided to come back as Novo, and because I'd worked down in Wales 20 years, I'd seen the potential of building a company down in Wales, and that's why we based ourselves down in Wales. Plus, my wife's Welsh as well, so got ties down here. But we based ourselves down here, so it's a really good place to build a technology business, and we wanted to do it different from the way we did it. So we learned a lot of things on that journey. I think when you're an entrepreneur, you're always learning. You never know it all. You're constantly learning. You're constantly, evaluating and pushing and understanding yourself. And, things that we did, right with Certus, we rolled forward and do obviously more of that with de Novo, and the things we didn't do so well with Certus, we don't do those things again. So stop learning. So yeah, proud Welsh company, but that's come back in and using the technology, to deliver value for our customers moving forward.
Mm-hmm. Do you think there was a particular moment between your other company getting acquired and kind of the founding of de Novo where you thought, no, we do need to keep doing something ourselves?
Yeah, I mean, I think the thing is there's not many people that actually sell a company, should we say, for a financial reward. That financial reward was very beneficial, but I'm not the kind of person to sit at home for the rest of my life, and I felt there were things I wanted to do that I didn't get to do, and it was becoming like the itch I couldn't scratch, really, and I felt that I really needed to come back and do these things, and I had a lot of support, and I went in a good way. I went right back to the beginning, and it was nice, really, because the best bit for me when you're being an entrepreneur creating companies is, I always usually say, it's the first 15 minutes, and then after that everything's just hard work. But I wanted to go back and see what the next generation of entrepreneurs were doing, so I would go to events, talk to younger people, seeing, because things change and move on, and it was to get new ideas. But I also learned from doing that how much I actually knew. I knew so much because of I had gone through this journey, and it was being able to leverage all of that knowledge in a way. But I think it was a case of that when I sold Certus, I was only 50 years old, so I was young. I'm only 56 now, so it's I'm still like to think I'm a young person, and I could just see there was opportunities, and there was just things I wanted to do, and also from going on it, and it's good fun when you're building and running a company, and especially when you can get it to be successful. And we kind of knew that way. There were things that we could do in terms of, like, especially tackling problems like the digital skills shortage, and the big reason for coming to Wales was like the Welsh apprenticeship scheme. So we could leverage the Welsh apprenticeship scheme, which I think is fantastic for young people. So we've now been doing that 4 years. We've now got 10 young people straight from school into tech, trained up using industry standard skills. So it's a small number, but we're still a small company. I'll say that we're 125 people today, but that's 10 jobs and 10 people that wouldn't have had those opportunities, and we like doing that. And the Welsh government graduate apprenticeship schemes is fantastic. So that was a big thing. And then we created our own graduate scheme, and we could develop ourselves. And as I said, there was ideas and things that we wanted to do that we wanted to go and try, really. I mean, not everything's always successful. Even de Novo, like, it's an overnight success, but we're now just in our 5th year. We have done it very fast. I will say this: we have done it incredibly quickly, twice the speed as Certus. But I think a lot of that is due to experience and knowledge and knowing how to do it. Plus, there was clearly a gap in the market again that we could come back and address, which helped. And of course, we had some benefits this time around. We didn't have to worry so much about funding, and we didn't have to worry so much about. We had a lot of contacts in industry, clients who were open to, yes, if you come back, we would like to do business with you, which is a start, because without customers you haven't got a business. So from that side of things, so there were things that were going in our favour this time round. But I think it was, I really do put it down, there was just unfinished business. There's things that we wanted to do, and it was really getting exciting. Was it the right thing to sell the previous company at the right point in time? Absolutely, it was. It definitely was the right time, the right thing to do. But equally, there were still things that we wanted to do, and De Novo has been that catalyst to allow us to do those things. So that's where we are.
Yeah, and I think second time round, you take all that knowledge that you gained the first time, and you can kind of be like, okay, what are we doing differently? What are we going to do the same? And what are we just going to take a risk on now?
Absolutely, and you know, I think you don't get a fast path straight back to the top of the mountain. I think if you want to use the metaphor, perhaps we know the route up. we know we don't have to find the route. We know how to get there. But even when you get to the top, you've got to stay up there, and that's hard work. It's hard work, and because the only way is down when you're at the top of it all. So I wouldn't say we're at the top of the moment. But we're getting ready to summit, should we say? We're getting ready to the top, so we're nearly back where we want to be. But yeah, I think it is. It is easier in terms that you've got the knowledge and the experience, but I would have to say 2025, I've been running my own business now since 23 years. It's the hardest business environment I've ever operated in. It's not easy for people out there. It really, really isn't. It's difficult. So I would say it just makes it even more challenging, but I could say a little bit more rewarding of what we've achieved in such difficult market circumstances is been amazing. And it's not just me, it's all the people, because it's a team game. It's all the people that have been involved in it that have gone on the journey. So they've rightly, all of them have got a rightly to be proud of what they've achieved.
Yeah, that's great. So what do you think differentiates De Novo from competitors in the market?
Oh, quite a lot, actually. I think it's an interesting question, because I think a lot of entrepreneurs, when they start off, they've got to be different, how are we different, and why are we different? And actually, sometimes you don't have to be that much different. It could just be that a market's being poorly served and you can do it better. So if you want your MBA business strategy, 3 words: better, cheaper, faster, right? If you can do 2 of those 3, you've probably got something. If you can do all 3, brilliant. But it's there. Probably saves a lot of people £20,000 going on MBA courses. If you can think of anything in terms of better, cheaper, faster, hit 2 out of the 3, you've probably got something from there. So I think that's key. But for us, differentiator, being in Wales, definitely number one, because we're a £10 million turnover company, 125 people. We've got operation in India here. So we're top end to small, bottom end to medium, and we're scaling. But if we were doing this in London, we would be a minnow, and people wouldn't be able to hear our message. But in Wales, in a way, I can monopolise Wales, because it is a small country. And you look at Wales, there's just over 3 million people in it. 2.3 million are in South Wales, between really Newport down to Swansea. That's obviously the area we're in. And because we're in the tech industry, and there's great tech businesses that have come out of Wales, some great brands and founders down there, it's a really good place to be. So we can promote ourselves, but also we can promote the country as well. So it's kind of both people win. And because we're the only ones doing what we do down here on scale, we kind of big fish, small pond. That works really well. So we have voice, people follow us, they notice us. So from that side, so being in Wales is good. Being in Wales, because of the apprenticeship program, is massive. So what we've done is, when you're scaling a company and you're building a company, you're building it sustainably, and that, to me, is about the company's still going to be here in 3 months' time, 6 months' time, 9 months' time, 2 years, 5 years there. So you have to build your infrastructure and your talent pools to be able to provide that kind of that sustainability. And the Wales apprenticeship scheme gave us the opportunity of bringing youngsters into the work environment from school, learning industry skills Monday to Thursday, and on Friday we work with the University of South Wales. They go and do a degree at University of South Wales, and that degree is 100% paid for by the Welsh Government. So they're an employee of mine, so they're earning proper money, a wage, so they're earning while they're learning, and they're also coming out with a degree at the end from a very credible university from there. So I mean, it's pretty good. If I could live my time again, I would do it. So but that's, I think, the ability to leverage Wales, to me, which is an untapped talent pool, as over time, and it is hard. It does take years. And to be honest, really, that program is a 10-year investment, even for us. And we are now year 4 into going into 5 into it, because you build capacity in the model. So I think that's key. We come back to Oracle Cloud. We were the pioneers of it, so we've come back to our home territory. But technology's moved on as well. So we also do ServiceNow as well. So we do 2 products we can implement and we can use. So we do that. We create our own IPR. We're not just a professional services consultancy. So we've gone back to the Certus journey. We create blueprints. This time we've created a blueprint for government. We've created a blueprint for local government. We're going to create, we haven't done it yet, we're going to create a blueprint for police. And our biggest growth area that we see is multi-academy trust, secondary education, and being able to take digital transformation to a sector that's pretty, I would say, I personally feel is unrepresented. There's not enough traction for back office digital transformation. And multi-academy trust, which is really the pooling of schools together as a unit, are bigger than some of the government departments we've implemented in over the years. So, in terms of volume. And of course, we're asking schools, a lot of schools these days, because they're really kind of dealing with a lot of social aspects as well as what they're there for, delivering education. But we're also asking them to run as businesses. And that's where you need people like me to provide the systems, the knowledge and the know-how of how to run those systems efficiently. So we've got that as well. I think, if that's not alone enough, I think also we've got a lovely blend of that. We don't have to outsource the implementation of technology. We're totally self-sufficient. So should we say the larger tier 1 organisations usually have to subcontract out large parts of an implementation. We don't have to do that. We can do it all ourselves in-house. We do have partners for very, very specialist areas we don't do. But we're talking 95% of what we do, we have our own capability of being able to do it. So that's a differentiator. And of course, we've got incredibly massive industry knowledge of the public sector, central government. We've worked in it over 20 years. That's what brought me to Wales over 20 years ago, because I built one of the government's first shared service centres down here, down the road. So it's amazing how a project like that can have such an influence on your life, really, and your career. I never thought that at the time. From there, and having that understanding of the demands. I mean, I love the public sector because it is, and if you park your political views to one side, it is a very fast moving environment. People think it's slow, but it's actually not. It's incredibly fast moving, and the need to be reactive and driving forward is great. So we do that. And I think the last thing is we've got our own R&D capability. So yes, we do play with AI and things like that. I still think we do the bread and butter stuff, which is get these systems in. People come to us because we get things delivered and get systems in and working. But again, we're evolving our own products, we're doing our own research into it. How do you apply it to what use cases? So there's actually, when you sit down and break it down, there's a lot of differentiators in it, which is probably a lot more than most people. But again, some of it a lot of that, I think, is experience, knowing how to do it in a given sector.
Mhm. Yeah, I was going to say a lot of differentiating factors, and I think it's quite refreshing how you're such a champion for Wales as well, because the UK tech ecosystem is strong, but I feel like when it comes to more regional ecosystems, you don't on a bigger stage, people don't really discuss, oh yeah, we are based in Wales, or oh, we're based in kind of Birmingham. It's so much focus on, say, Manchester and London, and then anything outside of that is kind of not visible.
Yeah, I mean, I think you find talent everywhere. You find talent everywhere, and I saw, so Wales. Everybody looks at Wales and goes, "Oh, it's landlocked. It's the M4. Right, the M4 is a problem. It's not like getting in and out. The M4 is a problem, and it will still be a problem after I've I've, I've gone. But actually, where people say geographically it's a problem, but you can deliver great tech from anywhere in the world. But equally, there's an untapped talent pool down here. Generally, people coming out of the schools because of the social fabric down here. It's a great place to live. Quality of life's good. They don't necessarily want to leave Wales to go somewhere else. So that talent pool's there. It's just untapped, and that's what we could see. And also, Wales, we want Wales to punch above its weight to raise its aspirations. So, kind of the ingredients are there. You don't change this overnight. You don't change an economy and a background from heavy industry, from tourism there to high tech digital. But Wales is attracting some big names. I mean, Aston Martin have got a factory down in the Vale of Morgan. It's high tech there. We've got a lot of medical instruments. Very big in microchips. Really, really big down here in factories producing that. So the technology is here, the ingredients are all here, so it's there. But we've got places, to be fair, we've got great places around the country. You mentioned Birmingham, Manchester, Newcastle, and you've also got the Glasgow Edinburgh corridor as well, which has been around forever, really. So it's not. It's not just London. Obviously, London and South East, for lots of reasons, still attracts a lot of it all. But there is, I think, when you're building companies and things, there are opportunities elsewhere, and you need just to open your mind to it. From there, as I said, I was lucky. You can tell from my accent, I'm a boy from South East London. Had Wales. Yes, my wife's Welsh, but I was lucky to work down here for 20 years, and I've really paid attention to what the Welsh government's been trying to do and what the opportunities were down here. So, absolutely no regrets. But if I'm benefiting from that, yeah, I'll champion Wales in return and fly the flag, because if we attract other companies down here, it's going to help me as well. So it's all about helping one another. So why not? Why not raise the flag? Hope the rugby team can get a bit better a go though. So,
Yeah. Yeah. So you mentioned earlier how fast Novo Solutions has grown. What do you think have been the key drivers of this growth for you?
key drivers. I think there was a real need. I think after we sold Certus, and I'll be, deferential to my competitors and competition, I think we left a really big gap in the market, in the middle of the market, and nobody really filled it. And it was still there 3 years later, after we had sold it, and nobody seemed to really know how to do it or move back into that space. So we came back in. For various reasons, customers weren't being served, and because of our reputations and what we did, basically we had people that were willing to help us get going again, and get contracts. And I've always been a big believer, if people help me, to get going and to build. And we say to customers today, if you're coming, if we're doing business with one another, you're part of my journey as I'm part of helping you. So I'm really clear about what I'm doing with the company. I really communicate with the company what you've helped us to do. So the monies you've paid us, this is what we've done with it, like the apprenticeship scheme. that way the company's more bigger, it's more sustainable. Therefore, you, Mr. Customer, Mrs. Customer, will benefit from that because I'm building greater depth of experience and more capability. So I communicate from there. So I think once people could see it working and getting widgets delivered, runs on the board, our customers then start introducing to other customers. So today, and we measure everything. We measure absolutely everything. So I'm quite a data freak, really, behind it. So 62% of our business comes from repeat business from our customers, or our customers introducing us to other customers, recommending us to somewhere else. 62%. So that's an incredible statistic, and you only get that kind of statistic if you're doing a really, really good job day in, day out. And yes, everybody has a bad day at times, but it's how you deal with it, how you react with it, how you correct the situation and preserve long-term relationships. And because we're not a flash in the pan, we're around there, people can trust and rely on us. And I think as much about what we do and how we do it, because we're big into delivery excellence, we go back to the basics, delivering really well, driving customer satisfaction, customer advocacy. That's really, really key to us. It's fundamentally in DNA. And from that, but it's also about the way we conduct ourselves, the way we go about business. And I think some people find that very, very refreshing, really. That's where we are. So I think that's helped fuel the growth. That has really helped fuel the growth.
Yeah, and speaking about growth and scaling, Novo Solutions won the Most Successful Scaleup Award at the Hustle Awards this year. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
So how did that make you feel, and what does that mean for the company?
Oh, I think it's fantastic, because it's that industry recognition, and it's not just about me, it's about the company, it's about all the people that work for the company. It's 125 of us, and it doesn't matter if you're in India, if you're in Guildford, or you're working from home, or in Wales, obviously. Everyone contributes to that. So it's a reward for everyone. And so to be recognised, for our people to be recognised in that way is really important. It's really, really, really important. And I think that, to me, that's first and foremost why we go into awards, because I want us to be recognised for what we do. And when we get that recognition, and we're up to win is fantastic, because you're up against some really hard competition. There's great stories there. I mean, everyone's good. that goes in. And it's tough to win, but to win it and to be recognised for what we've done and all the efforts is fantastic for the people. And then it also sends positive messages to our customers and to the industry. We're here to stay. We're moving forward. It's all really, really, really good stuff. So I'm incredibly proud of it and of having achieved it. And it's good. It's really good.
Yeah, obviously, as you said, the competition's tough, but literally year on year, the judges say it gets harder to judge because the actual quality of the entries and the people entering are constantly getting better. They're like, it's so difficult to judge. So even being shortlisted is truly an honour already, and then winning is just that cherry on top.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
So what do you think have been some of the biggest challenges on the De Novo journey so far, and how have you managed to overcome them?
Even though we knew people, building the team around you, there is a lot of ex-Certus people that we've worked together a long time that have come back from there. But you still got to take everybody on the journey. Do you know what I mean? You've got to take everybody on the journey, and try and not everybody wants to come back, and that's not a personal thing. People at different stages of their life, and it's still risky. There's no guarantee that you're going to be successful. I mean, perhaps we would say in our given sector and what we do, if anybody was going to pull it off, it was us. But we are talking we are a slice of the technology sector. It's very well defined, but there's still no guarantee. So there is a risk. We don't just throw loads of money at it. We want it to be self-sufficient. That's important. It's self-funding itself, and you've got to build that up. So you've got to still be quite frugal to begin with it all. And it's hard. It's hard. It still took us from the moment we could start trading. It still took us 6 months to get our first contract. Then after that, it started to go like dominoes. Then we had a little fallow period, and then it really started to go like dominoes, like crazy. Um, so I think getting the message back, we're back. It still took time, but we did have people that we've done business with that really trusted us and were prepared to go by us, which helped us. But you've still got to bring that team together and to get everybody on the same message and work in the same direction. So that's a challenge. From there, I think the general business environment is tough. There's still a skills shortage, and when you start to build a company, as much as we want to invest in young people, you need knowledge and experienced professionals around you, and they are expensive, right? And rightly so. The value they bring is significant, and they're helping you. So you've still got to be able to fund that in ways from there. I mean, one of the things I'm still a big fan, and we did this at Certus. It's a team of people that helps build a successful company, and we do we do make use of the government's EMI scheme where we use options. So if we ultimately sold it and exited, or we merged with someone, or something happened further down the line, there would be the potential for a liquidity event where people who have helped build it could basically make money from it. They're going to get something out of it. So because it's a lot of effort, a lot of hours, a lot of challenges. So we're quite big fans of that. Way. I mean, to give you an idea, on a liquidity event, 20% of the company would go down to the staff. So we're not frugal about it, because again, it's a collective that helps build it. Building the right team around you is key, but it's hard work, because sometimes it's like you want certain people, but you just cannot afford them. You just cannot afford them, or the timing's just not right for someone because they've got other things going on in their life. And as I said, when we built Certus, when I was doing it, I was really building it in my late 30s and 40s, there was various incarnations of it before we exited. Obviously, everyone's a lot older now, so the just life is different, isn't it? So, but it's knowing that. I think keeping up with technology, the evolution of it. Look, AI has been around. I started in 1987, and we were talking about an AI in 1987. So that's when I started my career in IT, and we was talking about in the 80s. What's happened in recent years, AI has become commoditized, it's become accessible, but I still think, and it's a great technology, but it's how it's applied. And trust me, next year there'll be something else, and there'll be something else. So the speed of the innovation and what comes with it, people can't adopt it fast enough. We tend to adopt it more in our B2C environment than a business to business environment. So it's just keeping up with it. And even, as I said, we experts with Oracle, and we use ServiceNow. But if you just focus on Oracle for a second, the speed of innovation that Oracle's delivering, I mean, we know what we're doing, and we struggle keeping up with it. We really struggle keeping up with it. So just the speed at which innovation's coming at us, and then, knowing that you've got to be able to think differently, you've got to, in time, be able to incorporate it into it. I don't think you need to rush it. It's not going anywhere. As I said, it's been around since the 80s, but it's like how you incorporate it, how you think differently, how it will have impacts on your business model and your revenue streams moving forward. It's being ahead of the curve as well. But you generally find with business, generally it is behind the curve because it just cannot accommodate the speed of the change. So there is a bit of time. So you can see how the technology matures a bit before you adopt it. You don't need necessarily always to be the first one out the door. I mean, sometimes that strategy works. We did that with Certus. It was very traditional. As I said, we did better, cheaper, faster. We did all three, and we did something called first mover advantages. So we set the market, but we could then, when we came back, it was a different marketplace. You can't use that strategy. So you've got to develop it. It's different. So it's thinking like that. So getting the right team, and the speed of the evolution, the technology, I think, has been the biggest challenges. And then as you're scaling, keeping it all together. How you run a company when there's 6 of you, then 20 of you, is very different when there's 50 of you and 125 of you and you're across multiple continents. So the structures you have to put in place to support your growth, that's challenging. To do it at that kind of scale, and it takes time. So obviously they were the three.
Yeah, great. And kind of on the flip side of that, what would you say have been the biggest highlights on the journey so far?
Oh, biggest highlights. Do you know, for me, Brogan, who was our first apprentice, he's just graduated. So we've got him through the cycle. That's massive. That's massive. And we always take the mick with him because he's the first. He's always the first. So you've always got that, Brogan. You were the first. No one could take that away from him. So seeing him grow and develop from when we first met him to see him graduate and be recognised, because he's up for an award in Wales, the FinTech Wales Awards for an Apprentice of the Year. And we were saying to him, look, just to be shortlisted is massive. Do you know what I mean? And I mean, if you won it, oh, well, yeah, it'll take all the oxygen out the air there, but rightly so. But personally, seeing him graduate was really cool. And a lot of people felt that way. A lot of people that way, especially the people that kind of started the company, because he came in right at the beginning. So he was like really, I think he was about the 12th employee. He came right at the beginning and he's seen it grow. And for him to get through and to graduate, I think it's massive. They're winning a couple of our contracts, taking it off I've always liked punching above my weight. There's nothing like winning against the bigger guys with a different proposition. And we've done a couple of those. That's been, we have a nice little smile on our face when we do that. We've still got to deliver it. We've got to deliver it. You don't bite off more than you can chew, but to win something like that is there. I think, and the general highlight is just being so well received back. Our customers of old, 80% of them have come back to us. I think that says an awful lot. They want to work with us, and that's really nice because relationships. I mean, what we do is all relationships. It's all, we teach that a lot to the young people. You can't do this from your bedroom. Get out, meet people. We're social animals. Business is people talking to one another. I've done more deals in coffee shops and stuff over the years than I can count. But it's interaction, it's trust, and people trust us, and being recognised for that is really important. And I think that's really nice to be there. That's a highlight. And to me, I get as much joy out of winning, say, the 40 or the £50,000 contract than signing, the kind of the multi-million pound ones I'm a bit famous for winning over the years. They're all important to me. They're all our customers are important to me, and you want to do right by them. So it's good being back. I enjoy being back, and as I said, we're coming to our 5th year, so we've been back a while. But it does seem in some ways it was like only yesterday we started again. Where's 5 years gone? I don't know. It's that cliche. Nothing's an overnight success. You've got to put the graft in. You've got to take the risks. You've got to deliver what you say you're going to deliver, and build the trust, build the reputation, and build the brand. I'm big into brand, massive into that. And the brand, and it is a cliche again, but it's right. Brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room, but you've got to build the brand so someone's got something to say about you in the first place. They want to talk about you. The awards help project the brand that massively, and we will milk the award, thank you very much, as much as we can, because it helps us win business. It helps to say, we're a company that's being run the right way, we're going somewhere, we look after people, you trust us. We will be there. So that's big. So there's a lot of highlights. But it's like there's still stuff that we want to do. We haven't finished, and and again, it's really cliche, and everybody knows this in the company, because I say it all at our company meetings. It still feels like we've only just got started.
Yeah. But those are some great highlights that you've had so far. So, kind of, you've talked about the highlights, the challenges that you faced, and you've been a serial entrepreneur. So, what would you say are some of the key lessons that you've learned on the journey?
Well, number one, I say this all the time. There's podcasts with me on it. Look, cash is king. Cash flow is everything. Become a cash flow ninja, a master of cash flow. Understand it, understand what it does to your business. It's so important. You've got responsibilities to your staff, and as you scale, it's not just to your staff; it's all the families as well. So you cannot afford to get it wrong or screw it up. Cash flow is absolutely critical, and understanding cash flow, that's the most important thing. You can have the best ideas in the world, but if you can't execute, you're dead in the water. So understand what you're trying to do, how you're going to get there, how you're going to fund it. Get creative, really creative. It's not necessarily about going out and raising money. It's how you can get creative, how you can get creative for your commercial deals. I find when I sit down and explain perhaps why I need 10% upfront and what I'm doing, or I need to be paid within 14 days instead of 30 days. Okay, predominantly it's public sector, but people do understand that, and they look to find ways to work with you. So understanding cash flow is absolutely fundamental. It's key from that. Second one is, you're only really as good as the team of people that are around you. Really hire smartly. You've got to hire people that want to come on the journey with you, and want to develop themselves and be part of it. And they've got to live and breathe it. I mean, especially when you're starting off, it's bloody hard work. And it doesn't matter what title you have or what role you have. Basically, everybody sells and everybody does everything. That's half the fun of it. Do you know what I mean? Is that you have to do everything. From making the coffee to doing a sales pitch to ordering the pizzas to writing some code to setting up the next decks, doing the recruiting. It doesn't matter. You get involved in everything. That is the fun of it. That's right. Fun of it. You get to do everything: marketing, branding, all of those things. I mean, it's so much, is there? And you've really got to understand your numbers. You've got to understand your numbers. That's really important. So getting the right team around you is really key. And then I think you've got to understand the market you're selling into, because at the end of the day, if you haven't got customers, you haven't got business. So you really understand. So take that thing about I said about AI. There's a lot of people that are doing AI this, AI this. That's the wrong way. You don't set up an AI business, not in my view, right? What is the pain? What is the problem you are trying to solve? What's the need? That's the fundamental thing. So for us, when we came back, there was a lot of Oracle systems out there. They were very poorly supported. People have put a big investment into it. They couldn't harness the new technology innovation that was coming along. There was not just a gap. To us, there was a big hole in the market, and we go, right, that's where we're going to play. So we understood it. We tested it. We went and spoke to loads of our old customers, as well as some of our new customers, and some people who didn't even choose us, didn't want to work with us, but we still spoke to them because you learn stuff. So, you're testing all the time, you're constant testing. So, and then you're refining, you're providing testing and things like that. So, from that side of things, so I think they're the key things to me. Advice for people is cash flow, building the right team around you, and knowing your customer. To me, you said the cash flow is also know your numbers. You've got to know your numbers. You've got to do that, and they're the three things, because they're the kind of building blocks. If you think about it, if you don't have one of those in place, you haven't got a business. You've got no customers, you haven't got a business. Haven't got a team, you've got no business. You've got no money funding it, you've got no business. So they're your foundation blocks. And look after, always focus on your fundamentals. Your money, your people, your customers. If you focus on your fundamentals, despite all the craziness and all the stuff that's going on around there, focus on the fundamentals. You'll still be breathing, you'll still be moving forward. If you don't forget the fundamentals, you're going to get into trouble pretty quick. So that's my biggest advice. And then,
Yeah, great. So I think that also leads well on to my final question of the podcast, which is, what do you think the future holds for yourself and De Novo Solutions? Do you have any big plans that you can kind of talk about now?
I think so. The biggest move that we've seen is, again, demand. We obviously have spent many years building shared services, business centralised operations for HR, payroll, finances, and we've seen there is a need in specifically multi-academy trusts in that sector, the education sector, secondary education, for payroll outsourcing services. So we can use the technology we implement and resell to supply that market. So as I said, we're a group now, so we now have created, and it will come online next year. We've already got our first customer lined up, and fingers crossed we might have a second, but we've definitely got one. Our payroll outsourcing services operation using Oracle Cloud and ServiceNow technology. So we can create that digital transformation experience and deliver value into a market that's underserved, is not being served well at the moment. And that also, once we've got the infrastructure set up, would potentially allow us to pivot, probably not next year, but the year after, to maybe local government or to other markets that maybe need that service in time. I mean, that's further down the track. But at the moment, we're really focusing on building this up for the first client that we've got in the multi-academy trust, the secondary education sector. And that's a big play for us from there. As for me personally, keep doing it. I'm enjoying it. I enjoy being around the people that I work with, the customers. I'm having fun. I suppose that's your final lesson learned, I would say, is as long as you remember it's fun. It's hard work, but it's fun. And as soon as it's, even on the days when it perhaps is not so fun, if it's constantly you're not enjoying it, perhaps it's not right for you, and you need to stop, because you kind of only live once. So you need to enjoy it. But at the moment, I'm having an awful lot of fun and enjoying it. And this still, as I said, still unfinished business, so they're still going, and also end on the cliche. I think we've only just got started.
Yeah, well, that's amazing. And to round off, is there anything you wanted to add or plug at the end of the podcast?
No. I think that's it, Anna. But thank you so much for having me. It's been really nice talking to you, and I hope a lot of people see it.
Yes, thank you for coming on the podcast today. It's been amazing speaking with you, learning more about De Novo Solutions. And once again, congratulations on winning the Most Successful Scaleup at the Hustle Awards this year.
Thank you very much, Anna.
Perfect. Thank you. Bye.
If you liked this episode, be sure to subscribe to the podcast and check out Startup Magazine's socials to stay up to date on the latest startups news.